First up on the agenda today, our buddy Elon Musk. The richest man basically in the world. Our buddy Elon goes from company to company without pants on and says, I'm gonna buy you. There's nothing you can do about it. And by the way, you're all fired. I sure hope someday that I can get hired by Elon Musk at one of his prestigious companies and then get fired. I think this is kind of a new millennial goal for us folks at my age range. It's like, oh, let's get in there and work for a job with Elon so he can walk in and be like, nah, see you later, you're fired. It is pretty interesting that Elon Musk has taken over Twitter. I think on one hand, people really thought he was just kind of, again, trolling places like Twitter, wanted to buy them and then was wanting to back out. But in my perspective, I don't think it quite worked out the way the public viewed. I think Elon intended for this to be the way it should have been. And so really what the plan was Elon was going to walk in, say, I'm going to buy you, let them completely freak out and burn all the papers in their drawers because a new guy's coming into town. And then he said, yeah, you know what? I don't want to buy you after all. Thanks, but no thanks. And then fast forward 6 weeks later, we've confirmed that Elon has bought Twitter. So it's like on one hand, I think he tried to say he wanted them and then tried to back out for the sake of devaluing his purchase straight up. So this may not have impacted his purchase price, but it shook up the leadership in Twitter enough for him to be able to come in, make his mark, and say, see you guys later. By the way, Elon, if you ever watching this video and you need somebody to come in and take over your technology for Twitter, give me a call. I'm a no bullshit kind of guy. But the other thing that Elon has to worry about in regards to all of these employees at Twitter is something that's been really hot in the news lately, and that, my friends, quiet quitting. Yes, you've heard it. You've seen the articles, mostly from like New York Times or The Atlantic. These guys really just kind of exaggerate the bejesus out of everything. But nevertheless, they go about and say quiet quitting is where an individual no longer has the motivation or willpower to advance or move through their career any further. They simply will take their pay, quietly basically do the minimal amount of work. If that means nothing at all, then they're going to do that. Quiet quitting really isn't anything new, and just like everything else in the human sphere today, we're trying to re-describe everything. And it's getting preposterous, if you'll, bear with me on this. Quiet quitting isn't new. Employees have basically only ever done this, and that's the bare minimum. You hire somebody, basically expect them to only do the minimum. Why? That's just how really humans work. Think of the lion on the African savannah. This guy lounges about, doesn't really expend that much energy, but is ahead of an entire pack, responsible for all of these lions and responsible for more than just feeding them and the cubs, but also reproducing and so on and so forth. The social hierarchy is strong. But what does the mighty lion do when he's not hunting? Well, he lounges around. Doesn't really do much. I think if we take a bit from nature here and really understand what the lion is doing, we can take some of that, apply it to ourselves, and realize we're not that much different. We don't like to spend a tremendous amount of energy doing anything and everything, despite what you see on Instagram, where somebody builds an entire coffee end table from an old rusty pallet. These guys are talented and artistic, no doubt, but they are motivated, and motivated for very specific reasons. Typically money. But you need to make a certain amount of money to really make it worthwhile. The mighty lion simply will only attack its prey when it is an absolute necessity. The lion has been quiet quitting for years. They simply just collect their paycheck, get their dues, eat when they need to, and the rest is lying around. Lying around. There's no real solution to the employee's quiet quitting. What needs to be done, outside of Elon Musk walking into every office saying that you're fired, is simply understanding and appreciating that value from the employee. If they want to do the minimum amount of work, well, then they should get the minimal amount of pay. If they want to advance their career, there should be rewards and stipends to do more than what is expected of them. But it is kind of foolish for an employer to step in and be like, I expect you to do everything, for this small salary. Oh, there you are. So I'm going to need you to have to go ahead and come in on Saturday, which is, I know tomorrow, I know you said you're going to need it off, but we're really going to need you to stretch your 40 hours into 180 hours by tomorrow. Please. Thank you, Tasha. No. That's enough. Tasha, I really don't need this kind of lip from you today, but since you're going to go ahead and do this, if you can't do it on Saturday, go ahead and come in on Sunday. No, Tasha, don't give me this again. All right, we've been over this many times. I think you and I are going to have a talk, Tasha. Why don't we go to my office? Which leads me to the next phrase, act your wage. This came out at some point around the same time as quiet quitting, and honestly sounds a bit more ridiculous than quiet quitting. Act your wage is just another fancy way of saying that's above my pay grade. I can't tell you how many people in the workplace respond to a situation and they try to say half joking and half serious, that's above my pay grade. I don't think I'll be able to do anything there for you. What a complete BS answer. Let me tell you the definition of being a professional, folks, and that is to solve other people's problems. Whether you own a business, whether you're a middle manager, or whether you're at the bottom of the totem pole, the better you can solve other people's problems, the customer, your manager's manager's problems, the better off you're going to be. Now, you don't have to break your back and work 20-hour days just to be able to achieve this. Work smarter, not harder, folks. And if you achieve that, then you'll realize that quiet quitting and things like act your wage are really kind of an immature statement that only reflect poor decisions of employees who don't really care about the company. They don't really care about the longevity of their career. They care only about getting off work on Friday, which is fine. Everyone can do kind of what they want to do, but just don't accept that role and then turn around and be upset that you're not getting paid enough. Those are contradictory statements, and that needs to be quailed. You can quiet quit, you can act your wage, but then don't turn around and say, I'm not getting paid enough. So until the day we can all look forward to Elon Musk walking into our office space and saying we're all fired, let's just give a little bit more effort in the workplace, because what good is it just to not give your all? That is only a reflection upon yourself, no matter how terrible your boss is.